the jingle now, and then I'll be counting you in. Short.
It is a beautiful and blessed Thursday morning, the 12th of September 2024, and the time is exactly 1 minute past the hour of 10 o'clock. Greetings, land of the brave and beyond, and a very warm welcome to your Thursday morning edition of the Cabinet Committee briefing session, live from the Government Information Center studio in Windhoek. It's always an absolute pleasure being in your company in Namibia. Now, you are tuned into the Cabinet Committee briefing session, a national platform initiated by the Government of the Republic of Namibia, approved by Cabinet, and rolled out by the Ministry of ICT late last year. Now, this platform is initiated to serve as a conduit for transmitting information on government capital projects, programs, policy formulations, and advancement, but also strategic implementations within the respective OMAs, that being offices, ministries, and agencies. And of course, the aim for this very critical platform is to fast-track information dissemination across all organs of government and the general public. Now, for this morning's edition, I am your host, Hileni Felepe-Samunyela, and I'm urging you, Namibia, to be part of this conversation by following the discussion on our social media platforms, where we are streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at Ministry of Information and Communications Technology. Alternatively, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel, and our handle there is MICT Namibia. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to please welcome on the podium the Minister of Industrialization and Trade, that is Honorable Lucia Ipumbu. Honorable Ipumbu, once again, it's an absolute pleasure to have you in studio with me for the first time, actually. Good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning, Hileni, and I'm happy to be here.
Right. Right, you can proceed with your statement, Honorable.
Thank you very much to the viewers out there. The Ministry of Industrialization and Trade has a task at hand and is mandated to enhance sustainable and social economic development. And this is done through creating an enabling environment that would benefit all our citizens. This task is carried out through creating policies and a legislative framework, as well as facilitating some strategies that are to ensure that they bring about the ease of doing business, improved investments, and create industries, as well as a core function of supporting the micro, small, and medium enterprises, while at the same time expanding and developing the markets and the products. The Ministry of Industrialization and Trade works in tandem with a host of other stakeholders in both the public and the private sector, with the programs geared towards the realization of national social development goals of our country to address essential objectives such as the sustained economic growth, employment creation, and an increased income inequality. The ministry is also cognizant of the need to prioritize sectors such as manufacturing, logistics, tourism, and agriculture for Namibia to become an industrialized economy with the knowledge-based society as envisioned in our Vision 2030. Herewith, I will give you a chronological order of the activities and initiatives undertaken by the ministry for the financial year 2022, 2023 to 2024. Starting with the legislative mandate. Legislation and policies that we have worked on put in place the requisite legal and regulatory building blocks for us to fully industrialize Namibia. It also assists us to strengthen trade both locally and at international level, and regionally and at the continental level. And also to vigorously enable small and medium enterprises to develop and flourish. We know that thousands of jobs will be created by SMEs and by big businesses as well. The policy aspect of the ministry aimed at strengthening the ministry's mandate in terms of industrialization and trade development. Apart from reaching out international entities, we are also tasked to attract investment to grow our economy. The ministry also reached out to local investors to participate fully in the development of the country. We also engage other countries to share and learn best practices from them. Where required, the ministry amends some legislations and repeal others that are not conducive for our objectives. If we are to look at the actual legal instruments that we have worked on during the course of the year 2023-2024, the ministry facilitated the enactment and promulgation of the Metrology Act, which provides for legal units of measurements and legal metrology. It will also look at technical regulations and national measurement standards, as well as ensuring the compatibility to international measurement standards. The Act designates the Namibia Standard Institution as the head of metrology in Namibia and repeals the Trade Metrology Act of 1973 and its amendments. The second one was the Property Practitioners Bill, which will repeal the Namibian Estate Agent Act, and it was tabled in the National Assembly recently and currently is awaiting sanction by His Excellency the President. The third one is the Competition Bill, which is also in its final stages and will be aligned to the National Competition Policy of 2020-2025. And the Consumer Protection Bill, which is also at an advanced drafting stage following the approval of the policy in 2021. Another piece of legislation is the Namibia Investment Promotion and Facilitation Bill that has gone through Cabinet already, following an extensive public consultations, and it's currently undergoing the rigorous drafting alignment before tabling it in Parliament. The bill provides for the promotion and facilitation of foreign and domestic investment to enhance sustainable economic development and reduce unemployment. Another piece of legislation we are working on is the Special Economic Zone Policy, which was approved in Cabinet 2022, that provided a platform for us to work on the bill. The Special Economic Zone Bill and its attendant regulations were finalized in April 2024. The draft is currently awaiting to undergo the normal government approval process until tabling in Parliament soon. So currently, it's with the Cabinet Committee on Legislation. The rationale for the Special Economic Zone law is chiefly premised on the objectives that previously saw the introduction of the Namibia Economic Processing Zone, which regime have phased out, and currently we are working on this specific Special Economic Zone as a replacement for the EPZ. EPZ, as we know, it had its own shortcomings that to a certain extent led Namibia to get grey listed. And the implications are that the country needs to ensure a comprehensive approach towards industrialization and economic diversification in order for us to reach our innovation-driven stage. The creation of special economic zones in Namibia is thus part of the Namibian government's effort to show up economic diversification whilst attracting and facilitating strategic productive development capacity to pivot the country towards innovation. It is also through this that we are able to provide the necessary incentives to both local and international investors. Cabinet has also approved the national trade policy for Namibia already in January 2024, and next month, which is now October, we will be able to launch this policy. The work on this policy commenced in 2016, and we are proud to witness the completion of its important legislation, and the policy provides guidance for government in terms of commitment to international agreements, and the policy also would cover the trade in goods and trade in services, which is an incoming kind of trade administration that we have left behind in terms of the legislative framework. The ministry has also advanced its enacting of copyright bill. The draft bill was tabled in Cabinet in May 2024, and the specific bill deals with intellectual properties and also related matters. Intellectual properties are generally divided into two categories. There is industrial property, which includes patents, trademarks, and designs. And the second category is copyright that protects authors' works, especially music, artistic work, films, and softwares. This bill is particularly important for the creative industry. Namibia has signed and ratified the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement commits African Union member states to removing tariffs on 90% of goods, with the 10% of the sensitive items to be placed in later. It also liberalizes services and aims to tackle non-tariff barriers which hamper trades amongst African countries, such as the long delay at the borders and so many other challenges. The prospects are that free movement of people and even a single currency could become part of the trade area, especially as we have initiated the various removal of requirements of passports between our member states. Namibia's tariffs offer under SACU was approved by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, and we are currently in the process of preparing to participate in the Guided Trade Initiative, whereby we will send off the first consignment for Namibian goods under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, envisaged to be done by latest in November to signify the commencement of our trading under this agreement. The key objective of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is to boost intra-African trade, and it's also designed to achieve a single continental market with zero lower trade tariffs and with also simplified rules of origin and custom procedures. It also looks at the harmonized regulations for trade in services and trade remedies that are made available to all other economic players. Namibia is ready to tap into a single market of about 1.3 billion people, while growing at home and industrializing local economy to produce goods and services with which we trade. Namibia, and to a larger extent SACU, tariff offers is in the process of being gazetted by our custom agency, and that is NAMRA. Moving on, Namibia has also launched the AGOA utilization strategy and action plan with the purpose of enabling Namibia to improve and increase export to the United States of America. The ministry, being the lead institution in facilitating the implementation of AGOA activities, have therefore come up with a National Steering Committee, which is comprised of the members from both the private and the public sectors that has been established to implement the AGOA utilization strategy and action plan. We have managed and successfully started to export various products under the AGOA. And if we are to look at those products to be specific, is charcoal, beef, beer, and cosmetics. And currently we are working on the second phase of the goods that includes our fruits, the grapes, the dates, and our artifacts. And during the recently held AGOA Forum, which took place in Washington in July 2024, the US Congress committed to the renewal of the AGOA post-2025. The ministry have therefore identified the various products that we would now roll out in our second phase to the US market, and a number of them I have already made reference to them. Ladies and gentlemen, the government postulates and emphasizes the informal economy and startups. Startups, if we look at them in the practical term, they constitute a segment of the private sector with innovative potential. There are also segments that are facilitating efficiently and are blending in with the framework. We also know that we are trying to have a broad-based economic growth, and these broadly segments are not in the formal economy, although a substantial part of the Namibian population depends on their livelihoods. Unfortunately, an appropriate economic policy framework to safeguard, propel, and sustain these segments of the private sector have been lacking. So incidentally, the Harambee Prosperity Plan number 2 calls for the introduction of the national policy on the informal economy, startups, and general entrepreneurship. This is why the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade has then commenced the work on the development of the above policy. This policy is aimed to create an accommodative and an enabling environment for informal economy, startups, and general entrepreneurs. The public consultation stage is finalized in this regard. Hence, we will witness the finalization of this important policy very soon, as we aim to launch it by December. The ministry is further committed to review an administration of the Liquor Act. In our efforts to regulate this important industry, whose majority of the participants fall under the SME category, Namibia, through the ministry, is committed on a sustained trajectory to front-load industrialization, which is encapsulated in a key document such as the Growth at Home Strategy and the Harambee Prosperity Plan number 2. Similarly, the envisaged industrial cooperation at the regional, continental, and domestic level aims to usher in an enormous economic opportunities through growing our natural resources and industrial production capacity. The pursuance of our industrialization at both national, regional, and continental level will pivot our national economy towards the deeper structures in the global value chains platform. The ministry has further undertaken several regional, continental, and international bilateral visits to engage other countries, and where possible, we signed memorandum of understanding for collaboration in various fields. Among the key countries visited, Zambia, Botswana, Ghana, Venezuela, and South Africa were part of what have shaped our business and economic activities as we drew lessons from them during the various engagements. The aim for engaging with such countries was to seek and improve avenues for collaborations while strengthening cooperation in trade, industry, and investment. Moving on, we would look at our growth at home strategy. In line with the broad objectives of Vision 2030 and the various national development plans, the main aim in terms of focus of the ministry's growth at home strategy is to hire and improve the sustained economic growth and wealth creation through diversification of Namibia's economy to achieve a high percentage share contribution of manufacturing and value addition to our natural resources or to our GDP. We also aim to have an increased capacity of local firms to produce and supply goods and services to domestic and export market. Namibians to benefit, the growth at home is focusing on exploitation of natural resources through partnership and employment creation opportunities. Our strategic objectives are therefore to promote the country's manufacturing activity, to grow and diversify our export basket, and also to ensure that our export markets have expanded and to promote the growth and development of our micro, small, and medium enterprises. The government recognizes the vital role that our MSMEs plays in the socio-economic development of the country. The ministry remains committed to deliver on its mandate to enhance a conducive working environment for business in the country, specifically through various programs. And if I may look at some of those programs, at present, the Equipment Aid Scheme is a program that the ministry has resuscitated. This program was halted since 2016, but at this point in time, it has been revived. And on the 23rd of August, we took the first launch after a wrong break, and we were able to award approximately 353 enterprises with equipment. That brings the total number of those recipients to 3,000. These entrepreneurs were assisted with equipment and machinery so that they can improve the quality of their products and services, and also to ensure that their productivity and competitiveness, primarily in the manufacturing sector, is improved, and also to boost their value addition capacity. As we move, we have recently witnessed the handing over of those equipments to the recipient in Omsati, Oshana, Oshikoto, Ohangwena, and Kunene region. And in the next 2 weeks, we will be able to also hand over these equipments to Kavango West and then the recipient of both Hardap and Karas region. The rest of the regions were informed through our regional offices, and we will witness the official handing over within the next 2 months. Another facility is the SDG Impact Facility. And this is coupled with Empretec training program, which provide avenues for grants and mentorship of enterprises targeting the business mindset change. The program has been pivotal in assisting especially women and youth in business. It also looks at the social enterprises for SMEs, and also it's addressing one of the key challenges faced by businesses at that level, which is entrepreneurial skills development. This is ensuring the strengthening of the technical operations of local enterprises and positioning them to become competitive. Another role and responsibility we are charged with is to ensure that the sites and premises program under the capital budget of the ministry is effected so that the ministry commits to honoring its mandate of providing a conducive business environment by developing the multi-purposes SME building blocks, industrial parks, and common facilities centers. We have completed the SME and industrial park in Tsumeb, in Opuo, and we are currently working on the one in Omaruru. The other program is the Industrial Upgrading Modernization Program, which is a SADC-wide industrial development initiative. This program is aimed at upgrading industries so that their output improve. It also assists in capacity building, in efficiency, competitiveness, and production quality. Let me pause here and inform the public that the first award of beneficiaries under this program for the applicants of 2023-2024 is envisaged to take place on Thursday, the 19th of September 2024 in Swakopmund, Erongo region. And it will be rolled out to the country. And at the same time, I should also inform the public that the new application have since commenced since the 1st of this month until the end of the month. The biomass project production is ongoing, with now only the electricity installation outstanding for completion. The project aims to produce animal feed, packaged charcoal, and biochar from invader bush. Equally important, the ministry has released adverts for the equipment aid scheme, and of course IUMP, I referred to it already, and I want to encourage our various entrepreneurs to make sure that they apply for these facilities. And the closing date for the new applications for equipment aid scheme is the 10th of October 2024. Other industrial and trade initiatives that we have taken, as you may be aware that we recently attended the SADC summit that took place in Zimbabwe. On the margins of that engagement, Namibia's ratification of the Montreal Protocol of 1987 caused us to be nominated as the host headquarter for the SADC Refrigerator and Air Conditioning Association. This consolidates Namibia's ambition of becoming a green hydrogen hub. To this end, the National Cooling Strategy has undergone the public consultation, and it's envisaged for tabling during the next financial year. Let me also invite the public to the commemoration of the Ozone Day, which is hosted annually on the 16th of September. This year, it's going to take place at the Zoo Park next week on Monday, and we look forward to receive you there. The event is important in creating awareness on the importance of reducing the use of products with harmful gases to protect the environment. Furthermore, Namibia's industrial policy and implementing strategies are scheduled for review. Namibia is also committed to benchmarking its industrial policy framework against the best regional and international practices, with the ultimate view of providing some technical input to the Namibian government with regard to the process and instrument for effective industrial implementation. Our industrial policy framework and strategy would guide Namibia's ambition to increase value addition to our raw material and sustainable growth of our country. We have noted with concern that our industrial policy is outdated, and in the era of new evolving industries, we need to revamp this instrument, and we also make have to make sure that it is commensurate with other requirements, especially the local content and also the mineral beneficiation, which we have worked on a strategy together with the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Moving towards the end, the mandate that we are charged with is implemented by the ministry itself with its various agencies. We have BIPA that is charged with the responsibility of company registrations and also intellectual properties. And then we have the Namibia Competition Commission, which looked at anti-competitive behavior and also regulating the merger and acquisitions of businesses. We have the Namibian Estate Agent Board, which would now champion the implementation of the new property practitioner bills that replaced the estate agent bill. We have the GS1, which is championed with the responsibility of developing Namibia's barcode, which we have launched, and we are happy to report that at this point in time, more than 500 Namibian businesses have acquired our local barcode. Please make sure you get your business barcode, and the cost price of each barcode is 259 Namibian dollars. Another agency that is charged with the mandate and the responsibility of the ministry is the Namibian Trade Forum. Namibia Trade Forum is charged with the responsibility of facilitating the engagement between the private and the public sector, and also ensuring the rollout and the implementation of our retail charter. The Namibia Standard Institute is charged with this responsibility of complementing the ministry's responsibility in setting up standards for the products, goods, and services that we are delivering into the market. It also has the responsibility of ensuring the measurements, which is part of the Metrology Act, which I have just alluded to, and it's busy with making sure that the new revamped bill is implemented to the full. The work of the ministry is rolled out through 3 different departments. And this is the Department of Industrial Development and Enterprise Development. And then the second department is the one of international trade. And then the one of commerce, which is also referred to as internal trade. Together with our agencies, our mandate is to make sure that we attract investors to the land of the brave, we find market for the Namibian goods, and of course, to make sure that the economy of the country grows, and it should be functioning on well-oiled regulative and policy framework. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much, Honourable Minister, for that very insightful and comprehensive report on activities and projects that your ministry has undertaken and implemented within the time period that is under review. It is quite evident that your ministry, the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade under your leadership, is steering the Namibian country or the Namibian nation towards a more industrialized and prosperous future. We highly appreciate you taking time away from your busy schedule to come and update the Namibian nation on activities pertaining to your ministry. Now, as is always the norm, the session is in twofold. The first fold was the minister making her update on activities, projects, programs, policy formulations and advancement, as well as strategy implementations within the ministry. However, the second fold is now reserved for the media practitioners or journalists in the House that are present here today and have perhaps reserved questions for the Honourable Minister. The time is now yours. You can quickly step closer to the podium, briefly introduce yourself and the media house you represent, and pose your questions to the Honourable Minister. Right, I'm getting an indication that there is no media practitioners in the House this morning to pose questions to the Honourable Minister. And in absence of any more further questions from the media, that concludes today's Cabinet Committee briefing session. Please do join us again next time when we bring you another fruitful update here at the Government Information Center. For myself, Hileni Falapesamela, and the entire GIC production crew, until next time, take care, Namibia.